Emmerdale spoilers. April Windsor faces GCSE meltdown in a haunting encounter from her traumatic past. Next week in Emmerdale, viewers will witness an emotionally charged storyline unfold as young April Windsor reaches a breaking point. Still reeling from the trauma of her past and struggling with her mental health, April faces an academic crisis that shakes her father Marlon to the core. However, what starts as a struggle with her GCSE exams quickly escalates into something far darker, when a ghost from April's traumatic time living on the streets returns in a chilling and unexpected way. For months now, Emmerdale fans have watched April try to rebuild her life after a harrowing year. Once a bright and enthusiastic teen, her spirit has been dimmed by recent hardships. Despite being safely back home, April has clearly been carrying deep emotional wounds. Her loved ones, especially her devoted father Marlon, have hoped that with time, things would get better. But as the pressure of her final school exams looms, it becomes painfully clear that April's healing journey is far from over. The pressure builds. April's GCSE crisis. As the GCSE exam season kicks off in the village, April finds herself falling behind. Her usual diligence and dedication have all but disappeared. Instead of revising with friends or preparing meticulously, April seems disconnected, unmotivated, and distant. Teachers and classmates notice her disengagement, but it's Marlon who begins to panic the most. According to a source close to the ITV soap, next week's episodes will show April freezing during an exam due to a wave of panic and anxiety. Despite all efforts to hold herself together, she's unable to cope with the mounting pressure. Her inability to complete the paper leaves her distraught, and Marlon heartbroken. For Marlon, seeing April in that state is devastating, says our Emmerdale insider. He knows she's been through more than any child should ever endure, and he's been trying to support her in every way. But in that moment, he realizes just how fragile she still is. Marlon quickly arranges a meeting with April's school, desperate for answers and hoping for solutions. As the two discuss April's academic future, a surprising suggestion comes from Belle Dingle, someone who has always had April's best interests at heart. Belle suggests that April might benefit from resitting the academic year, giving her the opportunity to heal and regroup without the overwhelming pressure of GCSEs hanging over her head. A second chance. Resitting the year. Initially unsure, Marlon soon warms to the idea. In fact, it offers a glimmer of hope in what has been a dark and uncertain time. After the year April's had, the idea that she might be able to wipe the slate clean and redo year 11 is a welcome choice for Marlon, the source adds. He's a devoted dad who wants the best for his daughter, but he's afraid that if he pushes her too hard, it'll backfire. He remembers how she ran away once before, and he's terrified it could happen again. April, for her part, is conflicted. She hates the idea of falling behind her peers, but she can't deny that the thought of retaking the year brings a small sense of relief. It feels like a way to slow down, reset, and recover. As discussions continue, April begins to show small signs of hope. She even takes the initiative to look for a summer job, something to help her feel useful and independent, and maybe even boost her confidence. A glimmer of hope. April gets a job. When Belle offers April a trial shift at Take a Vow, the village's wedding and event planning service, April is thrilled. It's a chance to do something new, take on some responsibility, and maybe even discover a passion. Her first task is filming a local christening, something light, joyful, and celebratory. At least, that's how it seems. With her camera in hand and her nerves cautiously under control, April heads to the event ready to make a fresh start. But what begins as a hopeful new chapter quickly turns into a horrifying ordeal. A face from April's past. As she scans the room to set up her filming equipment, April freezes. One of the guests, more specifically, the father of the baby being christened, is a face she knows all too well. A man she hoped to never see again. One of the cruel strangers who harassed her while she was living on the streets. Worse still, he's smiling, surrounded by family and friends, living a seemingly normal, happy life. The sight is sickening. How can someone who made her feel so degraded, so scared, be here, enjoying a perfect day? April experienced so much trauma while she was homeless, says our insider. She was threatened, humiliated, and left to fend for herself in a cruel world. Seeing the man who tormented her brings it all flooding back in an instant. April is hit by a tidal wave of emotions, fear, anger, confusion, and sadness. Her breathing becomes shallow, her hands shake, and her vision blurs. This moment, which should have been a step forward in her recovery, is instantly transformed into a horrifying flashback. She's been struggling with her mental health for months, the source adds. And now, just as she's trying to turn a corner, her past slams into her full force. Seeing that man, happy, loved, and respected, is too much for her. It makes her feel like the universe is deeply unfair. As the ceremony progresses, Marlon and Mary beam with pride, totally unaware of the emotional storm brewing inside April. They think she's just a little nervous about doing a good job. They have no idea that she's standing mere feet away from one of her abusers. Boiling point. April's next move. The tension reaches its peak as April continues filming. Her thoughts are racing, her heart is pounding, and her mind is in turmoil. She keeps her eyes on the man, her face growing increasingly tense. It's clear she's battling something major internally. And soon, it looks like she may be on the verge of snapping. She's teetering on the edge, the insider reveals. Nobody knows what she's going to do next. Will she confront him? Will she flee the scene? Or will she blow the whole event apart in a dramatic outburst? Marlon remains blissfully unaware, chatting happily with guests and proudly praising April's maturity. But viewers will be left wondering just how long it will be before the truth comes out, and whether April's next move could trigger another chain reaction of trauma and heartbreak. What comes next? Whatever April decides to do next, the emotional fallout is bound to be intense. The reappearance of her abuser is sure to stir up painful memories and might set back the progress she's made in recent months. The Emmerdale team has carefully crafted this storyline to reflect the realities of trauma recovery. Healing isn't a straight line, and moments like these can be deeply destabilizing for survivors. The show's portrayal of April's inner world, her anxiety, her silence, her bursts of panic, highlights just how delicate recovery can be. Fans are also likely to see how this affects Marlon in the coming weeks. His fear for April's well-being, his helplessness, and his need to support her without overwhelming her will all be put to the test. Marlon's journey as a single father has always been at the heart of Emmerdale, the insider explains. He's fiercely loyal and protective, but he's also just a man trying his best. This will be another test of their bond, and it's going to take everything he has to keep her grounded. Viewer reaction and speculation. As fans brace themselves for these harrowing scenes, social media has already begun buzzing with theories and speculation. Will April go public with what she knows? Could this lead to a larger storyline involving her abuser? Might other victims come forward? And will this trigger another spiral that forces Marlon to make a heartbreaking decision about his daughter's future? Others wonder whether April might seek therapy, find an ally in someone unexpected, or even leave the village again to escape the pain. Whatever happens, the coming episodes promise to be powerful, emotional, and deeply compelling. Final thoughts. April Windsor's journey is one of the most emotionally layered stories currently unfolding in Emmerdale. It reminds viewers of the long-lasting effects of trauma and the resilience of young people facing unimaginable challenges. As she stands at the crossroads of her recovery, one thing is certain, her path will not be easy, but it will be worth watching. Stay tuned as Emmerdale continues to explore April's powerful and painful journey, and the community that surrounds her.